on my screen when I try to go in. So sorry.
All right, we're starting the live now.
User error.
Okay.
All right, you guys are good to go.
All right, can we do a roll call, please?
Ellen Winkler,
Janine DePaula Stevens.
Armel Monfiletto,
Alex Hannah.
Okay. Tiffany Patterson. And then can I have someone please approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I'd like to make an adjustment real quick if we could. Just my name.
Janine DePaula Stevens. Mute. Stop video. 7. Participants. Share screen. Chat. Reactions.
So what's going on?
What is that?
I don't know.
More. Leave.
I haven't touched anything.
I don't know. Do you want to continue, Janine, for the minutes?
I will second the approval of the minutes with the adjustment to my name, please. DePaula is just spelled incorrectly.
Will be updated.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, can I have somebody approve the agenda for this meeting?
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second,
All right, number 1 on the agenda is discuss and possibly vote to approve ideas on beach information signs located at the beach entrances and around town. So we have, when you're walking onto the beach, we have the sign boxes in many different locations that used to have updated information about what was going on in our town. So what are the thoughts about improving those?
I think that's a fabulous idea. They're the one at the over at the harbor is in bad shape. Over at no, not Snug Harbor.
Okay.
That's on my street. The other one on
Sunset?
yeah,
on the
Sunset
bay
Park.
side. Yeah.
And the one at the end of Reed is in bad shape also. So yes, I think that's a great idea.
Let me take a couple notes here. Which ones need fixed up, repaired?
Sunset Park. They did
So
make
next
that a
over there
little
next
better,
to-
and Reed is also not very nice. I just think they could be prettier.
I agree. So
And I
Sunset Park over there by Ivy, right?
Yeah, off of Dagsworthy.
And these are both on the bay side,
Yes.
Ellen? Okay,
Yes, they are.
I'll get those fixed up.
I'd like to see something, I think from a content perspective, something inside that communicates more about what we're doing. Whether it talks about the beautification activities that we have going on, activities in town, events. I think there's also like, I guess it would be nice to, I don't even know if we could identify them all or number them all, because I know there's also one, I think it's on Swedes. I've seen it walking. I think those are the only 3 on the bay side, but I could be completely wrong on that. But I think it's an opportunity for us to communicate a lot more information, perhaps even have it where it's updated, you know, more often. Paul, you might remember this. Before TJ Rediford passed away, he had sent me a, it was like a poster. It was just an 11 by 17 or 12 by 18 poster. And it was very colorful and set up sort of in blocks, just, you know, horizontal blocks that talked about what was coming up in the town over the next several months.
I remember that. That was a good idea.
So I don't know who he had do that. I don't know if that, you know, but something nice like that was perhaps added. It doesn't have to be, I mean, they're going to go bad from the standpoint that the sun's going to bleach them out. So perhaps it's, every other month that we just have them printed. If we're only talking a few boxes, I would think that we'd have some money in our beautification budget that we could, not even budget, but beautification dollars that have come in that we could perhaps, use for that.
I mean, we could use the marketing budget for that. I mean, the beautification dollars, I think we want to use, I guess technically we're using it for beautification, but we're trying to offset the expense item that we get from Sposato.
Right.
Right.
Well, and Kelly also, I know we were working on it with a QR code and she had put it on a few things. We might even look at getting the QR code as a sticker, a small sticker that's put on the outside that, again, we speak to the beautification, but somebody walking to the beach, they might scan it and just send us, $5, $10. It might be a way
Right.
of capturing additional beautification dollars to explain what we're doing.
Sure.
But
So-
I mean, but I agree with Janine about putting the list together of things that are happening in the town so that when they're walking up to the beach, they can see. I mean, we can advertise even like our movie night, our bonfire night. I mean, what else is happening in the town? I know we advertise that on our website, but kind of join in too with what the partnership has going on, what draws people to our town.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would actually say, I think it'd be really nice if we did it seasonally, right? So we did a spring, a summer, and then maybe we have half of it or the bottom third is always kind of the same messaging. So there's a QR code, help, keep Dewey beautiful, right? And it takes us to our site. But then the top part is events coming up. I think that'd be really nice. And that keeps it fresh and seasonal. People then know expectations. Okay, at fall, there's going to be a different list of events and activities. I love that idea.
I think the reason I was thinking of a sticker is I'm not sure, but I think the depth of the box may prevent someone from scanning it easily through the glass or plexiglass, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's plexiglass.
It's plexi, yeah.
I have tested, not there, but doing it through plexiglass and it works. For the most part, it depends how thick and far away it is, but at least maybe about 3 inches, it tends to work. So we might want to test it.
Okay.
My, if I can chime in just for the general idea, my personal impression when I look at those, because I've looked at them for so many years, they just look the same to me, so I don't even read them anymore. Right. I mean, there's two things. I mean, I'd like to see, just from a personal level, so maybe get some artists to help spruce those things up and make them stand out a little bit more. And then secondly, whatever content we have, we use some big print or pictures or something that draws you into it versus, a lot like the beach rules, for example, there's, I don't know, 50 of them or whatever. I don't know if anybody goes through and reads all of them. Right. I mean, so maybe there's a way to, simplify it, put some pictures with it, or, just make it so when you look at this big box at the end of the street, you get drawn to it somehow.
I think that's a great idea.
That's just my 2 cents worth.
I love the idea of the artists and or having someone spruce them up. I mean, we could even do it from the beautification side as they could be sponsored by. So,
Right.
I mean, it
Oh,
could
that's
be
an idea.
fancied up on the inside by XYZ company or restaurant, and then they could put a few things inside that are, small, so it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it could decorate it. Like if it was a landscaping company or, just, if it was like Woody's, for example, he could put a koozie in there and something that just sort of spoke to whatever the restaurant was. Picture of the Woody truck or something like that.
Yeah. Or,
Go ahead, Paul.
no, it's like, I'm sure the restaurants would want to advertise whatever their daily specials are, like Woody's has burger nights or, whatever, we could do that through the fall, that's, some way of notifying people of, what should I be, what's going on in town here? Where should I be tonight or today?
And then in some ways, I wonder how inexpensive it would be to do a little plaque at the bottom, sponsored by, and it could have the name, and it would be annual, so it wouldn't be something that had to be there,
Mhm.
like a pretty.
Yeah.
But then that would give them the company that does so, or it could be a resident too. It could be somebody that just, instead of doing, we've got a bunch of benches, but it could be a box that they decorate just in the beginning of the season. And then, it says in honor of, or it could just have their name at the bottom. Again, not very large, but still.
Yeah, we're looking for individual sponsors on each street. I don't know if you saw what was done down on Bellevue Street, but it looks really great. I think, it just cleans that whole area up. And so, we need sponsors per street. So that's why we only have one done. There's some way of advertising that as a sponsorship opportunity.
I didn't see that. What's it like?
Let's see. I don't know if we have a picture on the website. I think we do.
Ellen, they've used like wood pylons to push back the sand, to hold the sand up, and then they have a designated spot for the bench and a designated spot for the bicycle rack, and so it looks
I'll go down there tomorrow.
It looks really nice.
Bellevue. Okay,
I
cool.
think I used the wrong term. Are they pylons?
Highlands.
Railroad ties.
Railroad ties. Yeah, that's it.
So if we're staying on topic with the beach signs, we need to put together some type of format that we want inside. And then do we want to see if we'll have local artists wow them, do each one different, each street different?
Right. And on that subject, it's sort of on the subject. I think it's consistent anyhow. When you're walking along the beach, how do you know which street you're crossing unless you know the houses at the corners? So a lot of visitors don't know, I'm going down Bellevue Street, but if I'm walking along the beach, which one's Bellevue, which one's Van Dyke, which one's it? So like a post. So these are just some ideas that I'm just throwing out there, to the group. If you think they're good ideas, I can work on getting, the local artist group to see what they can come up with. Like a totem pole that says, "Hey, this is Dickinson Street."
I think that's fabulous.
Hey, adding to that, Paul, I think it'd be really neat. Would we ever do like a mile marker, right, of where they are, and you have the start at one end of Dewey, and then you have how far they've gone on the end, and that's maybe the bottom part of the post. I'm just brainstorming, but I think it's kind of cool. So those that walk the beach, right, so they know, okay, I'm at point 3 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I think it's great too. I like that.
yeah. A lot of people take that walk.
Okay, so how do we make that happen?
I think our next marketing meeting, I can invite somebody from the artist group. I can get Leah Beach or somebody to maybe jump in on it.
Okay, that would be good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Paul, I think that you're talking about the poll and maybe a template that we use on the streets, right? I think it'd be a really cool artist thing. And I think we should keep it easy. So they do it once a year on the template for the signs. But imagine if each one either had a different one or just had one, and the artist signs it and it promotes the, artist in town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they're doing the artwork on it, they want to put their name on it, and maybe an opportunity for them to sell artwork too.
Good idea.
Okay, so we will reach out to Leah Beach and have her be at the next meeting so we can discuss moving forward with this project.
Yeah. And we'll have to figure out where we're going to get the money from too. So that's what I'll have to bring up in the commissioners meeting. So I'll get that added, the bill's agenda.
Okay. Is there anything else on item 1? Okay, moving to item 2. So, a lot of towns in the area have newsletters. So we would like to discuss and possibly vote on a Dewey newsletter. I know that we have Facebook. I know that, we're social media, but putting together, and we need to, figure this out, because I know that like I had a discussion, each committee can't put out, but the town can put out. So maybe each committee puts in what's going on in that committee to let the town know what's happening. Because you come across, well, why are we having this done? Well, it's not the town of Dewey doing that. It's Del Dot, or, so that people know what's going on.
Yeah. Tiffany, I would say, I think a newsletter is a really good idea and it's something we should do. I would challenge us to create a template where it is kind of drag and drop on a regular basis. So we get information from the other committees and we just put in there. A newsletter can get out of control, can take a lot of work and need a lot of care and feeding. But I do think there's enough content that each of the committees are creating and that the commissioners are doing that it really becomes an update. And once we have that template in place, I would just say we follow it every month rather than getting too kind of in depth. It's just a list of here's the important things you should know, upcoming meetings, right? So other people can listen in, and events and activities. But the more kind of regimented or templated we can make it, the better and the easier, and the more likely it will continue.
So
I think couldn't a lot of the information come directly from like the minutes to keep it easy? So it could be, just a snapshot directly from the minutes, read more, click here, it takes you directly to the town's website. So we're not recreating really anything. It's just we're providing it to the homeowners and residents in a new fashion. New way.
So if I could chime in on a newsletter, are you thinking of something to mail out each month?
No.
no,
No,
Social media wise, right?
Electronic.
electronic.
Yep.
Email.
Electronic, okay. So what we're gonna need to do is have a drive to collect a lot more email addresses. Kate, do you know offhand how many email addresses we have? Last I checked, it was like 600 or 700, something like that.
Are you looking for email address of just property owners or just general contact list?
Property owners, because yeah, the newsletter would only go to property owners, correct?
Correct.
Right.
So I don't have an updated number for that, only because with the last beach tax mailing, we sent out like an additional form for people to complete
Right.
for us to try and collect more emails. So Ashley was in the process of inputting those, so I don't have an updated number yet,
Oh, good.
unfortunately.
That's right. We did talk about putting it in on the beach tax thing. So yeah, hopefully we collect a lot more emails. So that email would come out from, I think from a source, like who's best to communicate that? Should it come from the marketing committee? Should it come from the town manager? Should it come from the mayor?
I think it needs to come from the town. So wherever it come, like the town needs to be the one sending it.
Right.
If you put a section in there, like if you wanted to have an update from the mayor, you could do that. But then I think, like, keeping it simple, as Alex was saying, going with
Yep.
like, here are the committees that have met this month. Here's where you can click to get to their minutes. Because
Yeah.
I know just in speaking with other residents, there's some difficulty in navigating the website. They don't really know where things are located. And it could be things like your beach taxes due. It could be your, here's an update on the latest unfortunate flooding that happened, or whatever it is, but something that's coming from the town. So there could be like a highlight section, and then events, like the same
Events.
information we're talking about putting into the beach informational sign boxes. We could just have a little section at the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It'd be probably consistent. That would be the monthly post in the box as well as what gets emailed out.
Yeah, I would recommend that it's always from the same group. And I think Town of Dewey Beach, right? And then the subject line is newsletter April. Paul, the other thing I might suggest is, I don't know if Bill's open to this, but town manager update, right? Because he's here all the time, and just see if Bill is open to this. But I think just like, I love Janine, if there's storms, right? Or if they're seeing something happening, it doesn't need to be a lot, right? It can be really short. Like, we know that some branches have come down. We're working through getting them down. I mean, it's as simple as that. And then the final point is, if we have 600 to 700 email addresses and we think, there's 1,200 people here, that's actually pretty good start.
Mhm.
And it provides some value. So I would argue the next time you send out a mailing and ask for email addresses, you could say one of the benefits of providing it is we'll add you to the Town of Dewey email newsletter. So you're always understanding what's going on, or you're getting the latest updates. So it could actually be a benefit to have this newsletter. And I think 600 to 700 email addresses as a start is really strong for our community.
And
Yeah,
Alex,
considering we have 1,600 properties, I mean,
Okay,
it'd be nice to have something close to 1,600 from a communication standpoint. And, and maybe it's not emails, maybe it's text. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some communication that we can just improve to everybody. And the Alex's point, I think the content, the town manager update, the mayor's update, marketing committee update.
I think we should list all the committees.
And if there's no update from a committee, we'll just leave that, just leave them off there. Because the hard thing is getting people to send it in on time and
Who's
be
going to
scrambling.
monitor it?
don't they have to send in minutes though, Paul? So we could, that's why I was saying keep it simple instead of requiring them to give us an update.
right.
refer back
Keep
to
the minutes of the meeting.
yeah, I love that idea. The less additional work that anyone needs to do to this, the more likely it's going to happen. So if we just each use approved minutes, at least then people, if they want to find out more what's going on with the environment committee, or if they want to find out more what's going on with marketing, they can just open up the minutes and see them.
Right.
And maybe there isn't even a blurb about it. Maybe it's just a section that has links directly to the most recent minutes. Read
Right.
about, read your committee activities to learn more about what's going on in the town of Dewey.
Right.
But Alex, I love the Bill area, the Bill Zolper town manager update, because that's where a lot of he could take care of some of the questions and things that come through, like the beach replenishment or not the beach, the paths as we're going onto the beach where they've taken down the snowballs and they're now putting in the post with the rope. That right there is progress is, things are proceeding with the rope project, blah, blah, blah. And he can say
Yep.
it's done by Del Dot. And then it's
Yep.
sort of, that we don't have to worry about correcting anything when we're talking.
I love it. You might have noticed something like that. The other thing I would add is that on top of the committee meeting minutes, you could have, hey, are you interested in volunteering? Click here to sign up, right? So that might be a way to get more people involved.
Right. Great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Carmel, what are your thoughts?
On the newsletter?
Yeah.
On the newsletter? No, I think it's a good idea. I think that, having the links to the website, like here is where you can go. So it's not like redundant and we're not doing a lot of extra work that we don't really need to do. So I think like directing people, this is what's going on, but here, if you want to read a little bit more about that. I was thinking too, like with Bill, if he gets a lot of questions or comments, maybe even in the newsletter, you can post those questions because you figure if one person has the question, other people have the same question. So it
Right.
could just be, and maybe people don't want their name in the newsletter, but he could say, whatever, answer to Sally S's question regarding blah, blah, blah. And, that could be part of his thing, part of his section as well. So people know that when they call in or they send a question in or they send a comment that someone's actually reading it.
Okay.
So he could address those issues.
Yeah. So I don't think a lot of people know to get a hold of Bill Zolper on, you want to get issues. I mean, they always get a hold of,
Yeah.
Janine can attest to this. They always hunt us commissioners now. I'm only going to forward it over to our town manager to do anyhow, but
Yeah.
happy to do that for everybody.
Or
Just
actually any
shortens
committee.
the
Like if people-
communication line.
Like if people had questions or comments for any of the committees,
Right.
that could even be in the newsletter too. Like it was brought to our attention, so we're going to be thinking about doing this or,
Right.
so people
Well, and-
feel
and-
heard.
Carmel, do you take it a step further and list, the town manager, maybe some of the key staff? So if you have questions regarding zoning questions, right? Like instead of having to search the website, maybe at the very bottom is, here's your resources, if you have questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everyone will like that idea, but certainly it would be nice to have it. This is where I go if I have a question about taking down a tree.
Right.
Yeah, particularly if that's one of the pressing issues right now, or like you said with the flooding, any questions about flooding on your street or contact whoever.
Our town manager wraps up every commissioner meeting with his comments, and he goes through with pictures of everything that was accomplished that month. When we look back at this, I mean, geez, Bill Zolper's only been with us, what, 9 months now, 10 months? And it's just a tremendous amount of things that's been accomplished in these, last 9, 10 months that you wouldn't think of. But now you look around, you're like, yep, that got fixed, this got fixed. There's gravel over here. The streets are level. There's a lot of, they're little things, but they're big things.
And Paul,
And there's a lot of big things done too.
Yeah, and unless someone is taking the time to read the minutes from, the commissioner meeting, it'd be so nice just to have that in a bullet point format from him in a quick.
Oh, like here's an example, right? With the snow. How many people on our street, right, Paul, were like, why aren't we getting plowed? Why aren't we getting plowed? Like even, something like that at the beginning of the season. Hey, don't forget, if we get a snowstorm, these are the streets that get plowed. These are the streets that don't. Please make sure you have,
Right.
Because who knew, right? Like who knew? And then all of a sudden that was like a huge issue. Like who's plowing our street, right?
No one.
No one. It's our streets and
Down the
sanitation
road,
department, but we don't have.
Get those shovels going.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Bauer, what do we need to do to move forward with possibly getting a Dewey Beach newsletter?
Let's take these ideas to the bill, and because there's an administrative facet to this thing to see, how do we implement this? Because first of all, you're going to have to vote if everybody's in favor of the, just like we have to go back and vote on the beach info as well. But once we do a roll call vote on that, then we can take those two issues to Bill Zolper and say, okay, this is what we'd like to do. And if there's like an expenditure of money that's going to exceed what Bill can approve, then it's got to go to the commissioners. If not, then it can be approved administratively. So then I would just take those directly to him. And, as far as the posts and the content and, the signs and, sprucing those things up, would have to get a cost first. So I don't know if we could do that one quite yet. I mean, you could vote that, we all agree that this is or not agree that this is a good idea to do. And then at that point, what's our next meeting schedule?
So our meetings are they're the second Thursday of every month. So our next meeting is
February
10th. Yes,
So what's the date of that? February
10th.
February 10th. Okay. I'll invite Leah to get to that or jump in on that one. And they may have some good ideas for us too. And then we can get an idea. She can get, whatever ideas that you think are good, she can come up with a cost, and then we can look at the cost benefit of it.
Okay. Well, then we're going to hold off on voting on these until then, correct?
Well, let's vote to, that we think that this is what we want to do. And that way there's a trail that, okay, hey, this was discussed and voted on, that we wanted to pursue looking at, costs for what it would be to do these things. So somebody's going to have to form that in a motion. I could give a little guideline on it. Motion to.
Do they need to be separate, Paul, because there's two separate items?
Yeah, there's two discuss and vote. So yeah, let's talk about. I'd go back to the first one first, and then. Because I think these are all good ideas, but these might not be the final ideas. This is what we're discussing. We want to vote, take a vote to recommend to the town manager. We're referring this to the town manager for, for a cost analysis of it.
Like street signs on the beach?
Street signs on the beach, the notification boxes at the end of each street. The repairs one, I'll just handle that one myself, but.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to figure out what is it we're voting on? we're kind of looking at trying to build. Are we building the beach information signs located at the beach entrances around town that Paul's talking about? And also the boxes, does that fall under part of beautification, or are we talking about just doing a marketing campaign?
Marketing campaign on it.
Okay.
I thought you just said the boxes were coming under maintenance.
The two that need repair, we can just do maintenance on those. That wouldn't include any content of what we're putting in.
I misunderstood. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Ellen,
Sunset
you're
Park and
saying
Reed, I'll just mention to Dawn that, hey, these need a little repair.
Ellen, were you saying that the repairs, or that you just want them to see them made to look nicer? Are they broken?
I would like to see the content better. I think the repairs they did is acceptable. Not
Okay.
wonderful, but acceptable.
Okay.
But the content is, I mean, you got the black stuff falling down, the black sheeting behind it.
So what might the actual vote or what's the proposal?
Well, isn't it really street signs and info boxes on beach
Yeah.
entrance?
Yes.
Well,
So just as you have it in the agenda, so you're going to vote to approve signs with beach information and street identification,
All right, so
something like that.
okay, so we're gonna
Yep.
take a vote on approving the ideas of updating the beach information and the signs located at the beach entrances and around town, along with updating those signs.
So someone needs a motion.
Does it include, having town manager identify costs and next steps?
Well, I think we need to get a vendor to prove the cost, because you have to bid it out if it's over so much money and that kind of stuff. So we'll have to find that out first.
Okay,
Okay.
Hey, if it's $100, then we don't need to bid it out. But if it's $5,000, then that's a different number.
we're not going to get it anyway.
Well, probably
Then we look for sponsors.
some entity to design it too, right? So
Right.
whether, if it's done by, like, you're gonna have Leah Beach come in, but if it's something along the lines of the printing, somebody's gonna have to lay that out and do that, right?
Yeah, then we can, we'd like to, I would suggest that we just open it up, Leah, I know would do a great job, but I'm sure there's some other people who do a great job, but I think they're all friends, but we don't want to have a no bid contract unless it's a very small amount. A nominal amount, I guess, not a very small, but a nominal.
okay.
And they're professional services, so it's,
So what's the motion? I'm sorry to ask this. I just want
I'm
to make sure. I
trying,
catch
I'm trying to figure something out here, yeah. And let's try and explore. Does this cover it? I'd like to make a motion to improve the beach information sign boxes around town with marketing, with marketing information about Dewey Beach and explore the associated costs. Does that cover what we have to do for next steps?
I think that covers it.
Can you say that one more time, Janine?
No. I'd like to make a motion to improve the beach information sign boxes around town to include marketing information about Dewey Beach and explore the associated costs for doing so. Did you catch that? Because I don't think I'll do it a third time.
And to include potential street identification poles, right?
Okay, so you're gonna amend it, yes. So then you,
So
you've
so
typed
the
it,
initial, so we need a second on her motion.
second
first.
on mine, but then you amend it.
I second it.
No, you can't second. Someone else
I
goes
second.
All right.
I
Ellen
second.
Okay, now Alex is going to motion to amend that motion. Good, Alex.
Okay, so I am going to amend the motion from to improve. I'm going to make a motion to the first motion was to improve the beach information and signs around town to include marketing, information and explore associated costs, and to include potential street signs or poles. Why don't I say poles?
Are they street or they're beach?
I'd say
The
beach,
poles
yeah.
on the beach,
Beach.
on the beach
Okay,
side.
and
think you need to
include
be- you don't need to
potential
be that
beach
specific.
Or
poles.
should that be separate? Paul, should that be a separate motion for the beach?
I
street-
just think it's all part of the
signs?
marketing part of what we're trying to accomplish there,
Okay.
communication. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's sufficient. So we need a second on Alex's amended motion. Do you accept
I will
that, Janine?
second Alex's a motion to amend the first motion.
Janine has to accept that as amended to her motion.
I accept it.
Okay,
I second her acceptance.
all right, there we go. Now you can vote. Sorry to be a pain in the butt for.
No, no,
Get it right.
what has to be done, or, yeah. So we need, Tiffany,
Pardon?
you have to call for the,
So I'm calling for the vote on the
Amended motion.
amended motion.
Ellen Winkler votes yes.
Well, I need other votes.
Alexandra votes yes.
Yeah,
Don't we all?
yes,
Yes,
Yes.
Janine
I said yes.
and Tiffany, your vote?
Yes.
All right, that's the 4 votes then. Okay. So it passes 4-0. No one opposed. Okay.
Good, that storm's over.
We got one more motion coming up. We got to do the newsletter.
I know. Motion to,
Town newsletter.
I'll try to help out a little bit on this one here. So you're possibly voting on a monthly newsletter, is how it was noticed in the agenda. So so a motion to, this is a suggestion, someone's gonna have to come up with this. Motion to approve to recommend a monthly newsletter to our town manager. That includes upcoming meetings, upcoming events, town manager update, mayor update, and marketing committee updates, et cetera, and to be emailed out to the town email list.
What he said.
Okay, I'll just kind of take this off the top of my head.
I have,
Oh, you
here.
got it, Janine. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm just trying to write it down, so when you tell me to repeat it, I've got it.
Go ahead. I have it typed up, so we'll compare. Go.
Oh, okay. Paul, do we have to include that we recommend, so we're recommending it to the town manager? Is that,
Yes,
Okay.
we're referring this to the town manager. Yes. It's because there's not a cost involved to this, so it doesn't have to go to the commissioners for a vote.
okay.
But it's
I'd
purely
like-
administrative in the office there, making more work for Kate and Ashley.
Okay. Sorry, Kate. I'd like to make a motion to propose to the town manager that we create that the town of Dewey Beach create a monthly electronic newsletter to include links to committee minutes, also to include an update from the town manager and mayor, and also include upcoming events, as well as
Other committee.
frequent, I'm trying to think of the right word. I'm trying to think of the frequent,
frequently asked questions.
frequently asked question links.
And then we wanted to put contact for key
Get
people.
that, Alex? All right, Paul, did I cover everything?
I think you covered it.
Let's see if
Hey,
Alex
Janine,
got it.
Can I read it
Someone
back?
needs to second that motion or amend it or ask for amendment of it.
Can I ask Alex to read it back to me as he has it?
Yeah,
Can I ask that?
so and just confirm, Janine, motion to propose to the town manager that Dewey Beach creates a monthly electronic newsletter to our town, that includes upcoming meetings, events, frequently asked question links, contacts, and updates from the town manager, mayor, and to be emailed out to the town email list.
The only piece you forgot were the committee minute links.
Committee minute.
Committee minutes.
Okay,
Committee and commissioner minutes, yeah.
Do you want to say something like in any other pertinent information just to cover?
Relevant
Case.
information, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, okay, so we have to second mine and then we can amend it to it. Or can I amend my motion before?
Yeah.
We get a second?
Yeah, we
Okay.
haven't had a second on yours yet, so you can
Okay.
just change it.
All right, so Alex, if we could also include then what Carmel suggested in regards to and other information deemed appropriate by the town manager.
Okay.
Can you read that back to me before we get a second?
yeah, sure. Motion to propose to the town manager that Dewey Beach create a monthly electronic newsletter that includes upcoming meetings, committee and commissioner minutes. Let me just update. Minutes, frequently asked question links, contacts and updates from town manager, mayor, and other information deemed appropriate by the town manager and to be emailed out to the town email list.
Perfect.
So
right.
that is, I concur that that is my motion. Is there a second?
I will second that.
There you go.
Tiffany, can you call for the all in favor?
Like, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. That one
all right,
passes
we're doing
4-0.
good.
Took us longer to do the motions than it did to have the meeting.
You guys are getting good at it.
All right, so Kate, do we have any public comments?
No one in the waiting room.
Any member comments?
I only have a question, and that is with the new committee members. I know we also, Tiffany, you spoke about Alex, right?
Right,
Not
so
Alex
that'll
Allen.
that'll have to be voted on. Carmel still has to be voted on, so that'll go. Commissioner Bauer is going to bring that in, and I sent an email. So I will send another email to have that put on the agenda so that they are voted.
Yep.
The
Send that
next,
to me, and it'd have to get in before 4 o'clock. We got to notice that that's on the agenda by 4 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, as soon as you can send that to me, I'll forward that over to get included.
Just so I can capture in the notes, who are the two new members? I know Carmel, is there a second one that Paul is working on getting added?
Yeah.
Alex, remember you and I spoke with Alex, and I can spell his last name, but I can't.
Okay. Oh,
Remember,
has he agreed?
you have it in your phone.
Janine, has he agreed to it though?
Yes, he
Yes.
agreed in front of both you and I.
Okay. I just want to make sure, okay. I'll leave it
But
at that.
And we need a bio and, or just a short breakdown of who this person is.
right,
Do you have his contact info, Tiffany, that you're able to?
I
reach?
do. I
Okay.
do. I
Yeah.
can reach out to him.
Send those
Janine,
to
do
me.
you
I'll
wanna do
forward
that, or
that
do you want
over
me to?
first thing tonight or tomorrow morning.
I'll
Tiffany,
reach out to him. Yeah, I'll reach out to him and get that.
do you need my bio?
I do need your bio. Okay.
Four or five good bullet points. That's all.
That's gonna be hard to narrow down.
I know.
So our next meeting is February 10th at 5:30. As we did a vote on, our meetings will be the second Thursday of every month going forward. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.
Okay.
All the
meeting
vote.
adjourned.
All in
There you
favor?
go.
All
Gotta
in
call a
favor?
vote.
Aye.
There you go. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
Paul.
All right. Hey, I'll
Thank
reach out
you.
to Leah and see who's, see if she can, her or somebody can get to our February 10th meeting. I'll email her tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thanks.